Hello, welcome to my series where we're looking for the next low market cap coin to explode just like Doge. In this video, I will be making a very solid case as to why I think Raven is the next one to absolutely take off. So why would you listen to me? Well, I do have 4 years of trading experience. I've been around way back in 2017 with the entire bear market, and here I am in the bull market. So I made a lot of mistakes on the way up, and I've learned from my mistakes, and I'm here to give you all of those tips and tricks to make sure you guys are on the right path so you don't end up like I did in 2017 and lose a lot of your profits. So my way of trading is a logical, systematic, and consistent approach. It does work. However, it doesn't use any news or fundamentals. All we do is look at charts, nothing else. It helps keep me biased in my assessment so that I'm not married to a chart. Another reason why you don't want to use news or fundamentals is because it's not quantifiable. You can't measure news. You can't measure fundamentals. So we only use charts and charts alone. Now, before we do get started, I want to make it very clear that this is not trading advice. This is only for educational purposes only. This is what I believe will happen, and this is what I'm going to do with my own money. You make your own decisions. Now, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive right into it. Now, since we'll be trading with an altcoin, we need to make sure that the alt market is healthy. And the best way to do that is we need to be looking at the Bitcoin dominance chart. If you've been on my channel for a while, you know exactly what this is. So this is what the altcoin chart looks like. The higher the percentage, the more money that is in Bitcoin compared to the alt market. Okay, and the other one also exists. If it's a low percentage, that means more money is in alts comparatively to Bitcoin. All right, so 50-50 means exactly half the amount of money is in alts as Bitcoin. As you guys can see, we have had one massive drop over the last few weeks. This is why the alts have been exploding, is because all this money is moving from Bitcoin into altcoins. Since we trade altcoins, that's very, very good for us. We should be making a lot of money over this last few weeks. Now, there is this very strong weekly breaker right here that was a very key level. It was shown as resistance over here, came back up, eventually did get above, but this key level is very, very important. Now, if you go over here, we see that we have now dropped below that breaker. So because of that, I expect this bull market to continue to at least this level down here, which is this breaker right here. Now, what a breaker is, before we do continue on, is a breaker is a break in price action. So the market goes up, it breaks down, and continues up. This break is very important because that's called consolidation. That's where the bulls and bears really had a good fight back and forth until it eventually continued on up. But that fight that they had is expected to happen again on the other return when it gets back to that price. So we expected some sort of resistance, and if you go to the lower time frame, you see we actually did get a pretty good interaction with this level. So as you see, it came back down here, rejected, came back over here, created another consolidation pattern, broke down here, stayed in between it, broke below it, and then retested from the bottom. This was our sign that we are now having bull market, the alt season that you guys have seen. Now, today is the March 5th, and Bitcoin did have a pretty massive increase today. So as you see, it did jump up in price, or it jump up in the Bitcoin dominance chart. However, it is now collapsed, and altcoins are starting to take back over again. All this looks great. So on the Bitcoin dominance chart, we fully expect this to continue on downward. Now let's go to the total 2 chart. So the total, let's do this actually. Let's go to the total chart. The total chart is every dollar that is currently in the crypto sphere. Okay, every dollar. So right now there's $2.3 trillion in the crypto sphere. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Doge, all these combined totals out to be this much money in the market. As you see, it changes very rapidly, very quickly. The total 2 chart is all crypto market except for Bitcoin. Okay, so Bitcoin has been taken out of this equation. Now, us as an alt trader, this is very important because these are our altcoins that we're looking to trade, and this is a very tradable chart. This is one you must keep an eye on to ensure that the market is continuing going in our direction, is healthy for the alt market. So if you go back to the weekly, you guys can see that we have had a very strong movement up so far. And if you go down to the lower time frame, these levels have been interacted with very well. As you guys can see, we have this daily breaker. This daily breaker was formed because we hit the all-time high right here, came back over, made the breaker, went back up, retested the breaker, and now continuing upward. And then if you go to the 4 hour, the exact same thing has happened over here. Well, let me rephrase, it hasn't actually happened yet, but we have reformed another breaker for additional support if it does decide to fall back down, which we haven't had it tested yet. I do expect it to get tested eventually, but as of right now, it's just hanging out there, acting as an additional support. So, long story short, our altcoins look great. This is, we're still in price discovery, continuing to go up. There's no reason for us to really slow down this alt train, so let's keep it going. Now that we have shown that the alt market looks healthy, now we're going to look at Raven specifically, and I'm going to show you why I think it's extremely bullish, and I think it has a lot of potential to really shine just like Doge did. So let's go ahead and look at our chart for Raven. As you can see, I created a ton of charts to go over a lot of different things, so a lot of different things going on there. So the first thing you want to do is go out to a very high time frame. We're going to go to a monthly chart. Why? We want to see what's going on the very high time frame and then work our way in. Because if we are trading for a lower time frame, you must always be aware of what's happening on the bigger picture. So by doing this, we establish what is happening on the bigger picture. So it's actually really, really important. So as you guys can see, this is the chart for Raven. This is zero. This right here is zero. So you can see how close to zero this price actually get to. Very, very, very low. And it just absolutely exploded. It went straight up parabolically. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It did have good volume on the increase, which is what we're looking for. And the volume on the decrease comparatively is lesser, which is also what we're looking for. So overall, this chart looks very good on the monthly time frame. Now, what I do want to do is I want to go ahead and add in our last closes. So this will be the most recent monthly low or monthly close, and then this will be the previous monthly close. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and annotate this. I like capitals. April close, and this is going to be March close. Awesome. So we want to have these actually listed so when we do dive in and go in closer, we do know what's going on. All right, so for the monthly, that's really all I have to say about that. Volume profile looks pretty good. We've annotated our closes. Nothing really sticks out to me as a clear breaker. I think it's just this is going to cover way too much of an area, so we're going to go ahead and disregard it for now. Let's go ahead and dive into the 1 week. Well, we're now at the 1 week, did the exact same thing. Let's go here and put the last 2 closes. So this was an up candle, which means the close is right there, which looks pretty dang similar to the March close. All right, so weekly close. And then the one right before it, right down here, this is going to be another weekly close. All right, awesome. Well, already we can tell that our price is actually ranging between these 2 weekly closes. I think that could be very significant zooming in. Well, let's see what else we have on here. For breakers wise, yep, we have this entire thing is a breaker. However, it's such a massive area, I'm not really going to stress on it too much. I'm going to go ahead and do it, but I'm also going to make it really light. Let's go ahead and do it like this. Opacity even lower. Okay, just to annotate, because it is such an incredibly large area, it's going to cover up so much of the area. So, all right, now that's done. Let's go ahead and look at our volume profile. Just like before, we have a massive increase, which looks very healthy. Lots and lots of volume on this increase. And then once it started doing what's called consolidating, this is low volume. Consolidation on low volume is good. That's healthy. That's what we want to see. Over here on the RSI looks very healthy. Yep, RSI looks very healthy. It's now reset on the weekly level. That means it's moved all the way down into our neutral territory. That's very good. What that means is that now it has a lot more room to grow and expand upward. So it's out of overbought territory, and now it's back in the neutral, which is totally fine. Nothing, no issue with that at all. I don't really see anything else in the weekly, honestly. Pretty much about it. But overall, this structure looks very clean. Real quick, just so you guys are aware, this is a very clear what's called impulsive structure, right? Impulsive structure. That means it has a lot of volume going parabolic, basically in a straight line up. That's obviously a impulsive movement. It has a lot of oomph to it, right? And this is more of just like a flagging little expansion out like that. So this whole thing, where it's just doing a lot of that, right? That's called a flag of some sort. And then whenever you have some sort of a flag structure like that, especially whenever the volume is decreasing like it is here, it's reasonable to assume the next movement is going to be another impulse up. That's generally how it's going to work. So you can call this a bull flag. You can call this a bull pennant. Those are both two very realistic terms. I've heard them both many, many times. The point is that this is a very healthy structure, and we would expect a continuation to the upside from it. Now, if you go over here to DOGE real quick, you can see that these flags are all over the place. If you go to the log chart, we can see them even more so. And this will probably get you excited. There's an impulse, flag, impulse, flag, impulse, flag, impulse, flag, impulse, flag, and impulse, right? These flags are very common on any bullish chart. So with Raven making that impulse with a flag, that's a pretty dang bullish chart, guys. Like, I like this a lot, okay? I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this, and get rid of this. Now let's go to the daily. Now on the daily, we are looking to see if there's any breakers that really stick out to us that will provide us any sort of support or resistance. Now this one is very clear. Change the opacity on that as well, didn't it? All right, that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and make this opacity back to 25. Awesome. Okay, and let's see what else. What else really sticks out? I like this a lot. Do I like that? Want to break up? Maybe. I don't know yet. These two together, I do like both of those together. I know it's not entirely standard on that, but I do like that. Oh, and here, this is a clean one as well. It's pretty far back, but I'm still going to go ahead and annotate it for now. Okay. I think I'm pretty content with this right now. I think that really clarifies the breakers. We now know what's going on this chart. Ooh, that's a really clean thing right there. Didn't even notice. I like this a lot. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and annotate this as prior low. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. And this is liquidity, liquidity, liquidity. Awesome, awesome, awesome. This is also another liquidity. All right. The reason why I'm annotating all these levels, this is what you call untapped liquidity. These are highs that have not been swept. Okay, the equivalent, the opposite side of that is down here. When you have any sort of low or a high that's been established, and you have the price come down in here and go below it but close back above it, people oftentimes set their stop losses at this level or will enter a short position at the loss of this level. When you do that, you're going to get a lot of people who put downward pressure on the market, which is usually will push the market down. However, let's say the market does not get pushed down. Let's say it goes down, hits this level, and then continues right back up. Well, all those people who did their stop losses or entered short positions now are going to buy back into the market and are going to now push the market right back up. And that's exactly what happened. So because it did come down here, And since it did come down back down here, all these stop losses were activated right here, and it now pushed it back up. That's a very bullish movement. This is called a swing failure pattern right here. Swing failure pattern. Awesome. I am going to annotate this, although I don't foresee it being touched. I think it is a very key level. And let me go to the 3-day real quick, just so I don't see anything I'm missing. That's a pretty good one. I am going to annotate that, actually. Yep, I'm going to annotate that. I'm going to annotate this. I like this 3-day as well. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy. So like I was saying, just so I'm just make sure I'm clear on this. Price going down. This is the break in the price action, the resistance. Then it continued on down, right? There was no break in this one. Price goes down. Break in the price action. Price continues down, okay? This could also be considered one. However, we already have so many resistance clusters right there. I'm going to go ahead and ignore it for now. Now, the reason why I brought up this liquidity being tapped is because all of these levels, the highs have not been tapped. Okay, they have not been tapped here. That's pretty important. That means a lot of people have stop losses at this level for their short positions, which means there's actually buy pressure that if it gets above these levels, it could accelerate very rapidly. Okay, it could accelerate very rapidly. And unless it does come back down and becomes an SFP, you would expect this to be a change in market structure and actually continue on upside. And since there are so many, since there is so much untapped liquidity up here, this is a all these little areas are very good targets for the whales, the guys who really control the market, can really manipulate these markets, especially for these low market cap coins, can try to push up here just to tap that liquidity and get in their own short position, or just continue right back up. The point is, if they can hit these levels, you expect the price to go back up, at least in the short term, and it might actually be able to sustain in the longer term. So all this is untapped liquidity. That's all very bullish right now, okay? This is a really good sign that the price will continue to go up. Let's go ahead and get rid of all this liquidity. All right, but just understand that none of these levels have been hit, which means it's all just sitting there. All this money is just sitting here. All these stop losses just sitting there. So yeah, that right there is pretty important. Let's go back to the daily. Anything else I'm missing? I don't really think so. I think I'm basically done on this chart. So are we good to go? No, we're not. Now, we need to go to the BTC pairing. So for anyone who is new on the channel or doesn't really understand what the BTC pairing is, what this actually means, it's a very, very, very important level, okay? Exceptionally important level or important chart. Because what this means is how much Bitcoin can you buy with one coin of Raven? How much Bitcoin can you buy with one coin of Raven? Just like on the US dollar pairing, how much Raven can you buy with US dollar? How much Bitcoin can you buy with Raven? That's what that means. So right now, because Raven's so cheap and Bitcoin is so expensive, you can buy 0.0000305 Bitcoin with one Raven. There you go. I almost messed that up. So the point here is that this is actually a tradable chart, and if you are trading altcoins, you must always be aware of what's going on in this chart. This is very, very, very important. So now that we are here, let's go ahead and start annotating some levels that I think make a lot of sense. And let's go through here. Very clear liquidity. So as you guys see, drop in price, recovery, continuation downward. Is this going to work as well? Not really. I'm gonna consider this entire level seems like it's pretty much holding up. This is obviously a good one. I don't see us getting back down there again, but either way, just in case, we want to have that level marked out. I don't see too much on here. Let's go to the weekly. On the weekly chart, we have this as a very clear point of breakup, okay? Point of breakup. What that means is that this is the very last candle before very obvious movement upward, okay? Point of breakup. Now, if you see over here, this also became a very solid support all the way over here. It came down here, 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 went back below it, and then it got retested to the bottom side. So yes, this is a very key level because of all this interaction with this chart. Let's see what else. I do like this entire region. I'm going to go ahead and annotate it, even though it's not a weekly level. I think this entire region is a very clear going down, back up, continuation down. I like all that. I think it all makes sense. And then this, wait, let me see how I do this. Here to here. Yeah, that's a key one right there. And continuation down. I think both of those together. I like that. Okay. I think I'm pretty content with this one. Let's go ahead on to the, let's real quick, before I try to get ahead of myself. I also want to see what is this market structure looking like, right? Well, just like before in the US dollar pairing, you guys can see we had a tremendous amount of impulse back in 2017, or 2019, absolutely exploded, right? Very, very healthy. Went very high up, and then it started collapsing down. And this was holding as a support. And this was the point of breakup was the support. Came over here, went below it, and then just completely, utterly collapsed. But then we had what's called a rounded bottom, this rounded bottom structure, and it slowly gained strength before eventually it did become it did have an impulse up, and now we're starting to flag back down again. Now on the flag itself has a lot of volume, and the impulse up had a lot of volume, and the flag actually has a decrease in volume. That looks pretty healthy, it really does. So I'm really content with that. If I remember correctly, the level on the 3-day I want to mark off, because I think it was held up really, really well. So that's the weekly level. I think this was it right here. I think I really like this. This was the last level before the massive increase. So there's that on the 3-day. Yes, this is a level I wanted to mark off. So we have the weekly level and we have the 3-day. Both are very similar, but I think they both have their own purposes here. Okay, and then let's go to the daily. Zoom in on this level. See if there's anything else I really want to annotate out. This is a key level. Pretty far away from the price action. I'm going to go ahead and delete it for now. This whole thing is a very solid level. Yeah, I like that entire level. This point of breakup. Actually, this by a better one. I'm going to break up. I think that's probably about it. I think I'm pretty content with this. Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. And then just like before, we also have this liquidity right there. And we also have, just like before, we have this liquidity has not been tapped. This liquidity has not been tapped. This liquidity has not been tapped, and not have been tapped. Lots of bullish signs over here, guys. These are all levels that if I was a bull and I had a lot of money, I'd be wanting to hit this sucker so that I can get myself into a better short position or just continue the market going up. A lot of untapped liquidity that has not been activated yet. I like all that. Let's go ahead and delete it again. Okay, awesome. And I completely forgot about part of my thing, guys. I always want to annotate what my levels are, right? So this was going to be the March or the April close. And this is going to be May close or March close. Awesome. March and April. Let's go back to the weeks. Last 2 weeks. It's going to be right here and right here. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm pretty content with this. I think I like it a lot. Okay, well, now that we have all that done, let's go back to the daily. I want to look at 2 things. I want to look at the USD pairing first, then I'll go back and look at the the BTC pairing. So on the USD pairing, the first thing you want to look at before you really start analyzing the chart is you want to know where the 200 moving average is in the daily, because it is an exceptionally important indicator. This is going to tell you whether or not the chart is trending upward or downward over the last 200 candles. Well, as you can see, we definitely have a very massive increase. So because of that, we are trending upwards, which is good. I like that. I want the price to always be on top of it. So that looks very healthy. Let's go back to the BTC pairing, do the exact same thing. Once again, we are above the BTC pairing. Now, something else to take notice is that this is what's called a golden crossover. And what that means is that 50 EMA has crossed over the 200 EMA, or the 200 moving average. Now, when that happens, you have what's called a golden crossover. And as you can see, it obviously reacted very appropriately to it, especially in anticipation of this movement. A lot of people bought into it. So that's a very, very big sign to institutional investors that, hey, there is something very important happening here. You guys should get involved. Okay, that means a lot of bullish market structure happening. So it's considered a confirmation indicator. So, okay, let's see where else we're at. All right, now let's dive in and see whether or not we think this is going to become bullish or not. See if there's anything else we can find. We've already talked about volume. Volume is higher on these green candles than the red candles. That means there's a lot of pressure trying to bring this sucker up, but obviously it hasn't been able to do too much. On the time frame, we have 21, so February till March. So almost basically 2.5 months of consolidation. That's big, guys. I cannot stress that enough. There's a rule. The longer the consolidation, the more explosive the expansion. The longer the consolidation, the more explosive the expansion. And the reason why is because people who are in this market, they will get bored if their chart isn't doing anything. If it's sitting around doing nothing, they'll just get bored and go, leave, jump ship, and find something else that takes off. So what that means is that people who are in this market are the diamond hand people, the people who are not going to be selling at the next opportunity. So they're a lot less likely to sell their coins to people trying to get into the market, which means the market's going to increase a lot more rapidly. Okay, and that's generally what you're looking at. A great example of that is something like Doge. Okay, Doge had around the same. It had essentially a 2-month consolidation period before it took off, and there was lots of other coins that did a lot of crazy things this time frame, and Doge was entirely stagnant, and all of a sudden it decided to just absolutely explode. Great example. Another example of that is something like XRP. XRP essentially had 3 years of consolidation and now just absolutely decided to take off. Okay, complete sideways or even down movement while the rest of the market was doing nothing. So just to give you an idea, the longer that it does sit around doing nothing, the more bullish you should become as long as these levels are held. With this sweep that happened, with this untapped liquidity up top, all that looks really, really good. Now on a low time frame, let's look at what we got here. Right now, this breaker is providing support. We just got to close 11 minutes ago, which is amazing. So we actually have a candle went down into this breaker, closed below it, which is bearish. However, we have actually went back above and closed back above it. Not only do we close above this breaker, we also got to close above the April close. Very bullish, guys. Very bullish. So right now, we are stuck between this weekly close and this weekly close. You see a very clear range, right? These two levels are going back and forth, and so one thing is going to happen. It's going to go something like this. It's going to go until it finds a direction. Which direction is it going to go? I don't know. But the point is that it's stuck inside of this range that's very clearly established. Well, as long as we hold this level right here, I think it's safe to say the range is going to be up, right? And if it does break out of this, we have this liquidity, this liquidity, this liquidity, this liquidity, and this liquidity. All that looks very, very good. Let's see what else. Okay. Now, as far as resistances, we do have this major block right here. I think that's going to provide quite a bit of resistance. I think this block's going to provide quite a bit of resistance. But this block is past this piece of liquidity. So realistically, if it gets above this block right here, I think this one will be met pretty dang quickly, honestly. So we'll see what happens, guys, especially after such a long period of consolidation. So I think this level right here is the key level we need to be watching for. So if it gets above So if it gets above 19.2-ish, if it gets a daily close above there, I think that we are going to absolutely take off on this coin. And on the downside, I think if we get a close below, 16.3, I think we're in some warning signs. I think warning signs down here, but realistically, we could get all the way down to here at 7 cents and still be bullish, in my opinion, because we do have the 200 moving average, and that's not that bad of an idea to come down here and retest it. And the 200 moving average should provide a ton of resistance if we get it. So considering how bullish the alt market is, I really don't foresee that happening. I think that because of all the other pressure, it's going to continue going up. Now let's go back to the BTC pairing. On the BTC pairing, this is where we're at. 200 moving average is closer, but it also tends to coincide with this level right here, which was our point of breakdown. So that would not be entirely out of the question to get that done. However, we also have a sweep. We have a sweep that did happen and did close back above, which is very bullish. We are currently inside of this massive consolidation block. We're still above the April close. I think if we stay above the April close, stay above this breaker, I mean, the next realistic target is going to be a break out of this range. So just like on the other one, how we were ranging between the two closes, I think we're also ranged between the weekly close and the April close. I think those, we're going to keep going in between here until we find a direction. Now, because the US dollar pairing looks so good, I think that we should go to the upside. That would make sense to me. Now, our warning signs would be if we get below the April close in this entire block. So if we lose this block, I think we have some sort of warning signs. And the warning signs could very well bring us all the way down here to the 200 moving average, essentially, retesting that. Would that be healthy? Honestly, I think it would be pretty healthy. I think it would be a pretty solid retracement if we do get it. Let's see what our Fibonacci is. I'm curious at this point. Fibonacci. Oh, wow. I didn't even notice. Okay. Well, here's another very bullish indicator. Well, didn't entirely touch it. This retracement almost got to the golden pocket. So almost hit the 0.618. This is a very, very healthy retracement level. This is the optimal level you want any sort of movement to retrace to. So that actually is really, really nice. I didn't even know this, not gonna lie. But that looks pretty good. Yeah, I like that. It's pretty dang close. That also adds to the bullish case. Getting that level of retracement is a very healthy sign. And let's go back to the US dollar pairing just to make sure I'm on the same page on this one. Raven got a retracement of, let's say right about here. No, that's by the bottom. Oh my gosh, no way. Look at that. It tapped the golden pocket region. 0.618 actually tapped the golden pocket. That's gorgeous, guys. I no kidding did not know this before this video. Okay, so we just had a golden pocket retracement on this candle after an impulse up. That's extremely bullish. Yeah, that's huge, guys. We had a golden pocket retracement. I didn't even know this. Wow, that's really, really good. Okay. Wow. Huh. Okay. Yeah, that's a really solid retracement. I like it. I like it. I like it. Now, if we're looking for targets, the US tether or the US dollar US tether pairings are really, really hard to find targets because it's just it's all open air about this, right? But if you go to the BTC pairing, you can get some better idea what we're looking for. So on the BTC pairing, I've already labeled out where I think reasonable spots for this to get to. I think this level right here. Now, obviously, if you are trading the US dollar pairing, you have to convert this. So basically, whenever this start getting up to this level, you want to start transitioning some of this into Bitcoin or some of this into US dollar. Or if we get to this level, you want to be converting some of it to US dollar or to US tether. However, as you guys are probably aware, in this current bull market, a lot of times these coins are greatly exceeding expectations on previous runs. Like, not a great example. If I had the other chart, it would be. No. Let's see. What would be a good example on this one? H bar US ENJ. There you go. So you guys can see prior to this is a pretty similar chart to what we're just looking at, and ENJ actually went above the previous high. That's awesome, right? Is it possible to do the same thing on this coin? Sure, it is. Is it? Obviously, you want to play level to level. We really don't know exactly where it's going to get to, but just understand that there's absolutely a possibility of us just completely destroying this and going way past it. And this is also a very important thing as well. This was a 3-day level that was very well respected. This 3-day level is very well respected. You guys see how it constantly held at this level, held this level, held this level, went back below this level, and it actually is now either inside this level or still supporting above this level. So as long as this level is not lost, I'm pretty dang bullish on this chart as well. Even whenever it was lost on this chart, it did get right back above it and has reacted pretty well off of it. So yeah. All right, well, with all that being said, guys, I'm actually really bullish on this chart. I think it does have a lot of potential. This is probably my 5th largest holding, if I remember correctly. Somewhere around there, depends on the day. Even though it's consolidating for so long, even though it's, the longer it consolidates, the longer it takes actually does the next expansion, the more bullish I become on this, believe it or not. So the longer it waits, just the more excited I get, because that means more people are leaving the market who have the weak hands and can't hold this for a longer period of time. So whenever it does start moving, they're all going to be trying to get back into the market, but people like me will not be selling for anything less than way up here at the bare minimum, you know, these 2 levels up here. So overall, I like this chart. I think there's a lot of potential. And I think I'm going to go ahead and end this video. If you guys have questions, like always, let me know in the comments. Make sure to join my Facebook page and all that good stuff. I have all my indicators, all my technical analysis stuff, trading view, all my exchanges, all those referral links are in the description as well. Please use it. I really would appreciate it. But outside of that, I'll let you guys go. And I'll see you next video.